5 magical days and nights on the legendary Nile River. We'll visit temples and tombs carving rock thousands of years ago. You'll eat and drink like pharaohs.
Captain?
Yes?
I thought it was just the 4 of us.
It's gonna be okay, babe.
This is Mr. Darius.
And this is the love of my life, Sophia.
This guy's the one with the good life. Money, connections.
Jake and I were in high school together, old friends. And we met both of our wives at college, too. Heard you and your husband earlier tonight.
He's very passionate.
And you enjoy that?
Is there any other way?
The woman, she's unusual.
Beautiful.
For some men, no matter what they have, it's never enough.
I'm married,
Every man will die for her.
and I'm so sorry for that.
It's gonna take more than an apology to fix our marriage.
It's not good enough. This will go live on Fox News as soon as I hit one little button.
How much do you want?
$3 million.
Why don't I take care of your other little issue?
You can live by our factor. You stay right here with me.
We don't need her for our business. Let her go.
He has something that belongs to me. What are you gonna do now?
I think I may have an idea.
I know you're being blackmailed by your friends and Bastard Darius.
Saw you, Dylan. In town. With her.
You think I'm gonna live that bastard life?
It's part of the plan. Here's your payment, Jake.
Are you turning on me now? Jake, no! For some men, no matter what they have, it's never enough.
Well, thank you so much for coming to the film. That was incredible. I loved it. I was encaptured by it. I actually really loved the music, and the actors were phenomenal. So now I have the director here, Marlin Darrah. So we're going to have a little Q&A, and go ahead and start off and just give a little brief on the movie. I know people just watched it, but for people that may have not watched it, give a little a little description from your end and kind of what the inspiration is.
Oh, very good. Thanks, Kayla. I've been a career documentary filmmaker, travel adventure filmmaker for about 40 years. So I've been to, I don't know, maybe 150 countries or so. And so there's 10 films I wanted to do in 10 years, 10 feature films I wanted to do in 10 years. And we've done 3 so far, but they're based on 10 of the locations I think are most exciting or possibly most cinematic, you know, and to place these dramas about Americans getting into trouble overseas is really always fascinating to me, because we always get in trouble all the time overseas.
Always.
And so I thought, you know, I've been to Egypt about 10 times doing documentaries, travel adventure shows. And I thought, God, you know, Egypt is one of the most romantic and exciting and mysterious countries in all the world because of the Pharaoh sites, because of the Nile River. Taking a riverboat trip on the Nile has got to be one of the most romantic trips a person could ever take.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, let's twist that a little bit. We'll make a mystery show, a kind of a examination of love, lust, betrayal on a riverboat on the Nile, and see what we can come up with as an independent film.
I love that. There definitely was all of those things there, and the location was phenomenal. I think that you get to shoot on location really just makes it so authentic, and it seemed like the people were just having the best time. I mean, although they were crying or fighting, or you could just tell that it was an amazing time. And also, not just the boat, but I was not aware of the hot air balloons with the amazing views, and I totally forgot about camelback riding. So these are new things on my bucket list.
Absolutely, and I really recommend people not be afraid to go to Egypt, because sometimes people are afraid to go to these Islamic countries, for example, and there's been some news about certain things that have happened in Egypt that have been killings in the past, and so people are a little bit tentative to go, but like all these hot air balloon rides you can take. I mean, it's just been fabulous. You know, you're sailing slowly and quietly over these 4,000-year-old ruins. You know, it just really does something for your imagination when you go to these countries. So,
wow. And so, when did you film?
We shot it last year,
Nice.
and we shot it in February and March of last year. It took about 30 shooting days altogether.
Nice.
And we had about 2 weeks of scouting trips before that. And that's one of the most exciting things about making movies is the scouting trips, because you can just enjoy these locations and go, oh, let me imagine what the actors would do in this temple or on these camels here. What would happen? Let me see.
And
so
it's
that's
also
fun.
a vacation for you, right?
Kind of,
I'm
right?
kidding. All work.
Yeah, we're checking out the locations. And we had also too on the vessel that you saw in the movie. It's a river boat. It's got 2 big sails on it. A very interesting boat, but we had to set decorate that because we had to rent all the lamps and all the rugs that you saw and all the hangings on the boat itself, because it was really plain. And so we went to a exotic a place called Aladdin's lamp store. You got to have Aladdin, right?
Yeah.
And so we just picked out. Oh, we'll take that lamp and that rug and that sculpture, and so we just decorated the whole boat.
Wow, everything was just on location. I love that so much. I have one more main question, and then I'll open the floor up to questions.
Sure.
You were saying that it is an indie film, and we were talking briefly about the budget. Talk about that a little bit, and how that influenced the film's production.
Absolutely. I mean, for every indie filmmaker, it's all about how much money you can raise to be able to achieve the dreams that you've got. Because, you try to write a story that you can anticipate, you can find the money from friends or from relatives or some investor somewhere. Because all of us in the indie world, micro indie, I call it, any movie that's between $5,000 to $1 million, I say it's a micro indie movie, because that's what they are. Indie movies in Hollywood, that's 5 million or 20 million or 50 million indie movies. So for us, what it came down to was budget-wise, we just were able to put together something under $500,000. It's something under $500,000. We don't have the exact figure, but it's small.
Yeah.
It's small, and to squeeze out every dollar was so critical. There, we had to. We could only do a few takes of each thing and move on. It's almost like an egg timer on every scene. We had to just move on before the light was gone. And we couldn't do 20 takes. We couldn't do 30 takes like some expensive films can do.
Wow.
And so the people had to cry on cue, and they had to struggle and get their lines right, and otherwise we lose the light. And so the twists and turns now are, what are they doing suddenly on the vessel, because it was supposed to be a private trip for these 4 Americans, you see. So now the drama comes in where this woman is so beautiful, and this troubled marriage that our lead character, Dylan, is having. He's having problems with his wife, Alexa. They're about on the edge of divorce. So he is incredibly tempted, seduced by this woman who's really turning on all the heat and passion and looks at him. And so I think the question and the twists and turns have, to me, as a guy out there, I'm always thinking of men are pretty basic in what they're usually after in relationships. Some are really, for the entire package, but a lot of men just have roving eyes, and women are always, their partners are always thinking, well, you're looking at this other woman, what do you intend to do, And so for me, it was a good question mark for the audience to put yourself in that position of both the lead men and the lead women, and see what you would do maybe in that same situation. Is there a betrayal that would happen or not? Would you stay true to your wife or your husband? So these are all the questions that are posed in the movie. And so the twists that happen, hopefully, are not expected ones. Mm-hmm. And whoever's coming up with a plan, there's a plan in the movie of a crime. And so you don't really know until about 3/4 of the way into the movie who's behind the crime that's going to be committed. So hopefully that keeps the viewer on edge a bit, or at least guessing anyway, who's the bad guys, who are the good guys.
Yeah. I did not expect that. So, not to
Thanks.
spoil anything.
Yeah, right.
Any other questions?
Yeah, other questions might have. Locations. A question we often get actually from audiences is, of course, the budget. Everyone's wondering about that, so I mentioned that it's under $500,000. Then the other thing is about casting, because really for a director, it's interesting. I always like to talk to other filmmakers about what it means to be a director. What does the director really ultimately do? The key is you surround yourself with people that are better in every job that you could ever be in their job. See, so you surround yourself with people that are better producers, better actors than you could be, a better camera person than you could be, a better sound person than you could be. I know all of these things, having been raised in Oregon. I can do all this. I can do all the camera work and the audio. I can do all the editing, but for a director, it's a ringmaster. You're trying to assemble these pros, these people that are just inspiring to you, around you, and then your job is so much easier. As a director, you're just trying to answer a lot of questions. That's what a director is, making quick decisions and providing a lot of answers that people are always coming up to you in a day. There's hundreds of questions about where do we put this up? Where would you like that camera? You know, this. What's your angle? What do you want out of this? How was I? Give me some notes on my acting at the moment.
Yeah.
What do we do about this guard over here? He needs some money. What about the cop over here? So you're always like have to be fast.
Yeah.
That's what's exciting about it. There's never a boring second being a filmmaker, right? And especially a director. Always have decisions to make, so that's what's thrilling about it. That's one question I often get is what what you think you're best at as a filmmaker.
Nice.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Questions like that.
Any other questions?
Go ahead.
So, other than this film, what's your next step?
Oh, thank you for asking. Well, 10 films, 10 years. 2 years ago, we made a movie in the Amazon. It's called Amazon Queen. It's on multiple streaming platforms right now. So you can find it on Tubi TV, Amazon, Apple TV. That's Amazon Queen. And the one before that I shot in Cambodia, and that's called Monsoon Lover. You might like that, because that's a really good show, too.
Wow.
Take a look at that. It's on
Cambodia, that's good.
Tubi TV. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a very unusual location shoot.
Yeah.
So the question was, what's next? Well, we have 5 movies in development right now. The next one is going to be Madagascar Gold, is what it's called. Shot in Madagascar and Portugal. It's really in the spirit of National Treasure. You know, remember those movies? So it's a treasure hunt kind of flavor with a young female lead who's got a clue to find Captain Kidd's hidden treasure that was lost in Madagascar about 300 years ago. So that's going to be fun. And the next one after that is called Lost Safari. That's going to be set in Tanzania in East Africa. Yeah, right? And it's about another young female protagonist who goes to Tanzania, falls in love with a local Tanzanian man, but then unfortunately her past catches up with her in the form of her father, who's a real troublemaker. He shows up with a new wife, and then all the tension. Then they get lost, and they have to cooperate to survive and all that.
Oh,
so that'll be fun.
I'm like already writing these down. A, locations to visit, and B, movies to watch whenever they come out.
Yeah, that's our signature. We want to make sure that audiences look at our independent films as films that are done in other countries, and usually about Americans that get into deep trouble overseas, which we often do so easily.
Wow.
So that's sort of what we're after there.
So will Egypt Affair be streaming anytime soon? Are you putting it through the film festivals first?
Right. Thank you for asking on that. Yeah, distribution. Right now we have a deal that's already showing throughout the Middle East right now. A deal we've made, and throughout Latin America on another deal. And my distributor said we just had signed a deal for Germany. So that's good. And then it'll be coming out in North America in various platforms in February.
Nice.
So another month and a half.